I was thanking my friend there to have kept us all awake, and I hope this session would be of some interest to all of you, because it is, as Dr. Datta said, it is not a topic which is new, and it is not something that you are not doing. It's more about what else can be done. So my name is JASVEER Malaney, and I'm a professionally qualified leadership coach. I'm based in Singapore, and I provide leadership development for professionals. And so I chose this topic because I felt though there was an environment of developing HR into so much with the development of technology and the way the whole thing has evolved, there are still aspects and areas which need some attention. And by doing this talk, I hope we can generate some interest at the end. So I've divided this conversation in 3 segments, and I'd love it if you can be more engaging. In the first segment, we'll talk about what is happening in HR and how businesses have evolved the practice of HR. The next segment would be what actually is happening in terms of how HR is performing. And the last segment would be how you, the individuals that we are looking at in HR, can develop further as HR leaders. Is that good? Okay. So we are got all the logistics going. So we start off with, I've already done the introduction. Now, in terms of business evolution, over the years, the market of business has been developed only primarily with the way things originated. So initially in the 1900s, if you know, the businesses grew through the trade and technology, or bigger the company, the more profit they made. And then came another era where the consumers started demanding what the organizations or companies which survived, what could they actually give to the consumer. If they didn't meet the consumer's need and they didn't market themselves the way they were necessarily needing to do so, there was no business for those companies. Then came an era where most of the companies had caught up in the financial part of it, as well as what the consumer wanted. Now, if you look, for example, between an Apple and maybe the other technology companies, Androids and Apple are all offering the same apps. So what is the differentiating factor? And primarily it is the people. It's now all about how leadership gets the business. Agreed there? And while businesses were evolving, have you wondered, today in an HR, if you were to be given a wish list, what would it be like if you didn't have to do much and you had the right people in the right place? You had everybody in your workforce who was engaged. You had no problem in sourcing for people. The businesses have grown, the world has grown. Shouldn't that how things should be? But yet, HR has also had an evolutionary journey where, historically speaking, a personnel department started with keeping records of people. Evolution came in where they started to recruit, and then it came further into how discipline came in and organizational relationships were formed. But HR firmly established itself only when the real issues started happening, which was the Industrial Revolution. And when this era came in, that's when a lot of systems and processes were firmly put into place. And this is a model that has been used since 1984, known as the Harvard HRM framework, which is a basis of almost all organizations in terms of futuristic planning, organizing themselves, developing their people. However, since this HR has also come to a special place where things are moving well, what do you think would be some of the business challenges that organizations would be facing in the next 12 months? Maybe we can get somebody to share what would your particular organization be looking at?